Christal Stirs is Vice President and Development Program Manager for PNC Business Credit. She is responsible for oversight of the PNC Business Credit Development Program, one of the primary talent sources for the business. She received her Bachelor of Science in Accounting and Forensic Accounting from Franklin University and an MBA with a concentration in Finance from DeVry University. STIRS works on 2 committees to help the organization reach its diversity and inclusion goals. She serves as an advisor for the PNC Business Credit Diversity Networking Group and is a member of the Secured Finance Network.
I'm Christal Stirs. I live in Pittsburgh, PA, and I currently work at PNC Bank. So I've been working since I was 15. I've worked from everywhere from McDonald's to delivering newspapers to doing coat check at various clubs. I've done makeup. I was always hustling. But I would say probably in around 2012, I started working for a bank. And since then, I've kind of gradually grew into positions that I'm in today. I started out in the community college, didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was taking some classes just to kind of get myself going. And then I went to Franklin University, decided accounting was my thing. Had big dreams to be a CPA. I actually decided that really probably wasn't the best fit. I was more interested in finance. So I actually went and got my MBA with a concentration in finance. It is a certified public accountant. It was mostly around taxes. When I started taking my tax classes, I realized fairly quickly that it really wasn't for me. I didn't really like the loopholes, and there was never like a straight answer. I also preferred numbers and putting puzzles together. And so for me, finance is more of like historical look back, and then you kind of see a projected future. So that was kind of like, it was to me like a good fit because I like numbers. But I didn't feel like taxes is something I wanted to do a lot of. So I'm still in finance. It was just kind of like, they were turning the development program in from a 1-year program into a rotational program. So I'm still heavily involved in like training, etc. At the time when this opportunity presented itself, I actually was thinking of doing something more with personnel. But I didn't want to exactly leave the finance world. So I still wanted to be in the know and kind of see the training and be involved. I didn't want to do completely HR stuff. And this opportunity came along and it was different. It wasn't something my peers, anything like that has ever done. And I decided it was worth taking a chance. It was more of like coming out of my comfort zone. But I'm very involved, and I will say that I've grown to love it. I get to work with people across the bank. I get to work with the employees that report to me. It's a really good opportunity to not only grow with them, but also grow with the bank. It's really taking someone and trying to find ways to help them sharpen their skill set as well as develop. They specifically in my line of business, they go through various main roles in our line of business. They actually get to experience the role as if they were hired to do it. Along the way, they get to responsibilities. And then after, let's say, sometimes the rotations last 6 to 9 months, sometimes longer. But essentially, at the end of the 2 to 3 year program, the idea is that they're well-rounded, they're educated. Once they're placed in their placement role, which is not their forever role, but just, again, another chapter in their career, the idea is that they'll be more productive. In general, we look for folks that have finance degrees. They can have economics degrees, accounting degrees, basically anything in finance. We have had people that maybe they have a business administration, but they have some type of finance or accounting minor. But we're looking for folks that skill-wise that are driven, um, are good, or do well in Excel, like can do pivot tables or VLOOKUPs. We also look for individuals that can take feedback well. I always tell people that I come across, the hardest thing I've found in this type of job is this thing up here is your biggest enemy. And if you allow it, it can take away from your future. So I always tell them, don't let this take away from this, which is your future. I think I just kind of said it, but believing in yourself. When I started out, I let this thing up here tell me like you're not good enough, you're not going to be able to be successful. And then I kept pushing through. I'm the kind of person that doesn't throw in the towel very easily. I will suffer till the day ends, but I feel like my personal sufferings was all from me. Really, it wasn't the job, it wasn't anything else, it was me. And throughout the time that I've spent reflecting, I always say to myself, man, I wasted so much time not allowing myself to be happy, not allowing myself to live to my full potential, because I was always doubting myself because I didn't get something quick enough. You know, I was always that person that caught on quick. Um, in this job, since I've been here, it wasn't like it didn't come to me easy. And so I found that extremely challenging, and I've never experienced that before, not even college. Like I was the type of person that I could not study and ace the test. This was one of those things I actually had to put my head down and grind and keep at it. So I would say something I wish I would have told myself, especially like 12 years ago, is you can do this and you will be amazing. You just got to keep your head up and keep going. In my career, I would say when I first started off at my current job, it was challenging in general just because we were traveling a lot. It was a different type of work, something I never heard about. But I actually really loved traveling and getting to meet new people. Again, taking myself out of my comfort zone. I was always in an office or a same area. So going to new places and meeting new people was definitely different. But again, I think it was the mindset that helped me of like, I want to overcome this. Typically, I wake up at 5:30 every day. At the days I work from home, I'm like cleaning, trying to keep up with things. And then I get my kids up. We're out the door by 7, and then I drop them off. And then I go into work. I would say every day I have a lot of meetings typically, not only talking to the DPAs that are development program associates that report to me, but I'm also talking to the managers and teams that they're working with, staying close to their development. I would say one, just being myself. I've always let my work speak for itself, meaning that I always given it my all. I tried my best. I may have not been the most outspoken person at a point in time, but my work always was solid. I always gave it 110%. I've always had a lot of diverse friends, and I've had a lot of diverse background as far as the way I was brought up and etc. And so for me, being able to be in a position where I can make a difference in people's lives, whether it's, again, 5-minute journey, hi, how are you? Or listening to someone that might be going through something and just need to like get it off their chest. I would say hearing their stories and trying to figure out a way to make an effective change. You cannot change people's mind. You can't, and especially if you try to shove it down their throat, they automatically put a barrier up. But I think living and being the example, it helps people see that you can effectively be happy and be the change. I am part of the diversity council at my current job, I'm also part of the diversity council within my line of business. And we meet periodically, and it's a way for us to kind of collaborate and talk about different challenges, things that might be going on. We voice opinions, whether it's from training initiatives or different challenges that we might be facing. I would say mostly in our business, but we find ways to kind of mitigate it by creating training or flyers or having open conversations. We recently just had it to where our company invested a lot of money into making sure that our employees could get certifications like in accounting or finance, so that way maybe they couldn't go to college or something, but they can still find ways to keep sharpening their skill set and build it up to kind of keep moving up in the business. So my upbringing was, I had a parent that was in the military. We didn't have a lot of money. But when my parents got divorced, I would say that was when I would say things really took a turn. So I went from having, like, I guess you could say, a normal childhood, um, where I had two parents and my brother was my sidekick, but living thousands of miles away from my father and brother. And my mom, she had to start working multiple jobs. And so I was alone a lot. And so for me, not having that constant physical support, as well as not having really a place to call home at times, was challenging, just in general. There were other things that happened, but I wouldn't say I would talk about that today, out of respect for my parents. But with that, let's just say I learned a lot about, and I met a lot of people, and talk about diversity. That's another reason why it's so close to home, is because I grew up in a neighborhood when my mom left my dad. I grew up in a neighborhood where it was, very diverse, people from all kinds of backgrounds. And, one thing we had in common is none of us really had money. I would say coming out of my comfort zone. When I go back to always say field exam, when I was in field exam, I literally put those earbuds, my music earbuds in my ear, and I would intentionally just be like in my zone, in my comfort zone. And I am naturally introverted, so for me, I really didn't want to be bothered by anyone. However, I was always naturally curious about people's backgrounds. When I was in high school and that stuff, I loved learning about people. Um, the difference is when you go out of college and stuff like that, you're not seeing the same people all the time, and that was challenging for me. So I would say coming out of my comfort zone, I started taking the earphones out of my ears when I was in the airport. I started talking to people that are sitting next to me. When I was in the elevator with someone, I say, "Hi, how are you? How are things going?" I try to like have a conversation with the customer about maybe simple as what's good around here to eat or what's there to do. And then I would find out gradually about them and their family. And I started to kind of gain more confidence in myself, and talking to people. And it's over time has become more natural. In general, I would say be yourself. You're born unique. You should remain unique. And, you do what you feel is right for you. Get one life to live. Be your happy, whatever that might be. Take chances in life. Don't ever like think to yourself, I'm not going to do this because I'm too scared. Just do it. The more you think about it, the more you talk yourself out of it. And then obviously my biggest piece of advice that kind of goes along with is this thing up here. Learn to love yourself. I know if people are like, what does that mean? Like, you're with yourself 24/7. That voice in your head with you 24/7. So the more you can kind of try to take the other side of you that's like, okay, be quiet over here, and kind of work with it and just kind of change your mindset so that your future, you can keep building off it. I would say don't let this take away from your future. Um, but just always remain yourself and grounded, and never let anyone, because everyone has an opinion, tell you who you should be, because you're the only one that knows who you should be, what you want to be, where you should go. You take chances, you mess up, okay, move on. But it goes back to not letting this take away from this.